Right. Shall we have a question? Or shall we not have a question?
Shall we flip a coin?
What do you mean?
Yeah. We're going to try something a bit different. So, you guys like your Pokemons.
Pocket monsters.
I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there who like Pokemons. You've undermined the whole thing now, haven't you?
Yep.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have a tournament, a bracket tournament.
Ooh.
Of all the Pokemon generations. So there's 8 generations.
Yep.
That's correct, isn't it?
Confirmed, yes.
And, oh dear, I've lost the thing.
This is a good start.
The professionalism.
Yes. Talk.
Yeah.
Yes, there were 8 generations.
Yes.
I remember my first one.
Was Gen 1.
Yes. I had to go for, I can't remember, it was my birthday or Christmas, but my parents got me the Game Boy Color. There was like the clear through one, so you could see the little inside stuff. That was cool.
That's really cool. Yeah.
I love those like editions of any like handheld or consoles and stuff.
Right. So basically, how this is going to work, we're going to have
enough reminiscing.
Yes. Just interrupt my story.
Oh, sorry. Go on. I was so engrossed.
No, that's fine. Yeah, you're so
work.
engrossed. I'll just interrupt you. I was just saying my parents gonna be like. I was just saying my parents gonna be like both red and blue, so I got fun playing both. That was fun.
Jolly good.
Hey.
I don't know what that meant. I still don't understand the concept of buying both. It just confuses the hell out of me. Right.
Hey.
So how this is going to work is they're all, imagine like the World Cup knockout tournament between. So these are all randomized into one-on-one matches.
Right.
And you two are going to have to debate, argue maybe, as to what you think is overall.
I'll agree a lot, but
well,
we'll see.
You might do. You might not.
We'll
That's
see.
the beauty of it all, isn't it? So, match 1 is going to be Generation 8, Sword and Shield, versus Generation 3, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald.
Oh.
Okay. I mean, for me, I'd say Sword and Shield because it's gone so much further since the 3rd generation of Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And also in Generation 3, there was too much water for me, too much surfing around. Didn't like that. But on the other hand, for Generation 8, I didn't like how easy it was because you can go into the wildlands and catch level 60, 65 Pokemon. And then at that point, you're ready for the Galarian League, pretty much. Like, I didn't find it much of a challenge at all. I completed it in about 16 hours.
Yeah, but this is a guy who like doesn't catch any Pokemon. I guess he's 16 and that's it.
I had a good variation. I swaps out a lot, but that's me going into the wildlands and catching all the really good Pokemon. So I had a lot of them. What do you think? What are your thoughts, Matt?
Ooh, I mean, I did like the Generation 3. Had more of a kind of like the story felt more involved than just like the area they're in. It was like, the legendary Pokemon was going to get woken up by, it was either Team Magma or Team Aqua, depending on which one you played.
Yeah.
Or both, if it was Emerald. Because I think actually I didn't play Emerald, but I'm pretty sure you could catch both. Well, all three legendaries.
Well, all three of them. Yeah, that's right. Emerald out of that generation was the one that I bought around Christmas time. So I got the Emerald version. So yeah, you got Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza.
Yeah. Well, I only had Sapphire, so I think I could only catch Kyogre, was it?
Yeah, Kyogre.
Yeah, Kyogre was in blue and Groudon was red. I think I liked the enemy team in this one, because they had a little bit more personality to them. Like, there was a leader that was quite charismatic, and even like had like a lieutenant, which was quite cool. So that was good. I think I liked the stuff that 3 introduced, because I think 3 was the first time that Seasons was involved. So like or at least maybe a weather system, because like there were certain areas where
It was
you're
rainy
near-
and certain ones that was like snowy. Yeah, yeah.
or even when it was snow. I think there was one where like the mountain, you were near like the volcano, and it was raining ash all the time.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty cool concept.
Yeah.
I
thought the post game with Gen 3 were pretty good as well. Was Gen 3 the Battle Frontier afterwards?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing that I always look at with the Pokemon game, the post game, because well, it's basically on every Pokemon game. I don't know, because you've not played any of them, Mark. This might be good for you.
You're saying to me then.
So yeah, not you, Matt. The premise of them is that you start your Pokemon journey, you pick a starter Pokemon, and then from there you catch Pokemon and build a team. But as you go, you've got to, on most of the generations, get 8 badges. And then once you've got your 8 badges, you get your badges off gym leaders. And gym leaders is like the most powerful trainer in that area that you can get to at that time. Once you've beaten them, you get to the next area. Basically, you've got to beat 8 of them. And then once you beat those 8, then you go to the Pokemon League in that region, and then battle against the Elite Four, which are the 4 best trainers in the region, and then you verse the champion to try and become the champion. So you beat your 8 gym leaders to get the badges to be like an entry point to the Pokemon League. You beat the league, then you beat the champion and become the champion, and that's end game at that point.
Yeah.
And I really like a Pokemon game with more afterwards. So one thing that I really liked about Gen 3 actually was the Reggies, and then eventually I think you could unlock. Could you unlock Regigigas? That was later on.
No, I think that was Gen 4. I think it gets involved in Gen 4, 5, something like that.
Yeah, because I think it is Gen 4. You might be right there. Because I remember having to trade my Reggies, but it was a difficult task to try to find them though, because you had certain puzzles that you needed to do. So that was really cool. So I think in terms of post game, Gen 3 was up there because you had the Battle Frontier, which is different from the Battle Tower that most of the games got. Finding the Regis was really interesting as well. I don't know about you, but I'd put Gen 3 into the next round. But what are your thoughts on Gen 8 before we do that?
So my thoughts on Gen 8 was, well, I immediately loved the region because obviously the region was based on. It's like, seeing all the things that looked familiar. Like, yeah, that town definitely looks like London. Let's get away from there.
I bet Stonehenge is in it, isn't it? That's like one of the things
they had their version of Stonehenge.
I knew it.
Yeah. I'm sure somewhere looks like Sheffield, maybe. So I mean, I love the region. I like the starters as well. I think the star designs I probably prefer in Sword and Shield against Gen 8. I like the introduction of the wild area as well. Being able to essentially have like almost like a free roaming area.
It's good that you could see the Pokemon that were roaming around as well. That was
that was it. That was the. I mean, it wasn't the first Pokemon game to do it, but it was the first mainline Pokemon game to be able to see the Pokemon in the overworld, so you could choose which Pokemon to.
Yeah. So that was Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, wasn't it? That introduced.
Yeah, they were the first, but they weren't. I don't think they considered mainline. So that was good.
The raids were good because it brought people together doing the raids.
Yeah, the max raids, so being able to catch more powerful versions of Pokemon, or in this case, you got certain ones that had a Dynamax version, or once you got onto it, some had like a Gigantamax version, which changed their appearance completely. So it was nice to see Fat Pikachu again. The OG Pikachu from Red and Blue. Yeah. That was good. I think the post game stuff as well was quite nice. I think like you battled like these 2 people who thought they were like descendants from
the Sword and Shield people.
Yeah, so like that you end up like they end up doing stuff in each city where you have to battle like Gigantamax version of Pokemon, and then you eventually battle them when they have control of the two legendary like dogs that they've got. And once you beat them, then you got a chance to battle a dog again, sort of later on with your rival, or like friendly rival, I suppose, and catch them. So they were cool. I think other than that, I think the story is a bit of a letdown for Sword and Shield. Like, for one, like the enemy team that's always in each generation is just like cheerleaders for this girl who didn't even want them to be there. Like, you know, she's not evil. She's just like a rival trainer that you end up battling, and she's not even like the evil person. And the story is like, it doesn't really pick up until once you get to like the last kind of two gyms where like, oh, suddenly the Dynamax energy is going rampant and giant Pokemon appearing everywhere, and you're like, ooh, this could be like really cool. You know, you have to battle giant Pokemon to like calm them down, but then like the champion Leon just ends up like telling you to carry on with your gym journey, and I'll sort it, and it's like, oh.
I wanted to help at least.
Yeah, like at least let me do like a couple of battles or something. Like there's just no. You go on this Pokemon gym journey, and there's no deviation like there is in the other games. It's literally just you have to stick course until you get to like the Pokemon League, and from then on it's all right. Like, but it's just a bit disappointing. I think.
All right, I'm gonna have to push you for an answer.
You have to push for an answer. I think I'd have to go for Gen 3, unfortunately.
So is that you're both in agreement with
Gen 3? Gen 3 needs to.
Yeah, I think you have to go for Gen 3.
Okay. So the next one is Generation 7, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon against Gen 5, Black, White, Black 2, and White 2.
Oh. This is the one where I have to admit I didn't play Gen 5, so I've got to rely on Nathan for this.
To be honest, I thought Gen 5 was one of the weakest. I really enjoyed Gen 7. Do you know the setting of like the Hawaiian setting and style? I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And all the Gen 1, like the new Gen 1 styles that they did. Like Executor, for example, that was now a dragon somehow.
Sorry. So Gen 7 introduced region exclusive versions of a Pokemon that had come before. Although a lot of it was focused on Generation 1. So like you said, Executor was normally a grass psychic type, but now it became like a grass dragon type and looked like a massive Hawaiian tree. Yeah. Which is hilarious. Because you can't even see, like, he fills the screen. Like, he's gone. You just see this stump on the screen. With its massive tail with two, like, eggs on it.
Yeah. So I liked how they changed that. They also changed up the they had trials instead of gyms. And there was a lot more of them. When there were about 16 trials or something. So there was one for each Pokemon type, I think, wasn't there? Something like that.
I can't recall that. You might be correct, but in effect, there's 4 grand trials, which are like the traditional gym battles. You fight like the I suppose the grand chief of the island. I'm not quite sure. I probably got that wrong. But before then, you end up doing like these smaller trials, which they broke up like how a gym, when you enter it, you had to like. You sort of did puzzles and you end up battling trainers before you got to like the gym leader. They were in effect kind of like that, but a little bit more varied, which I think helped Sun and Moon. That it was daring to be change up the status quo in effect, which I thought was really good. And then it's got its whole like I suppose other dimensional storyline, which I thought was pretty cool as well. The evil team in this one were just more of a comic relief than really wanted to do anything. But I thought it was cool. They had quite a sympathetic story actually, because it was kind of like they joined the team just to feel like wanted, Like there were always like people who were kind of thrown away and were ignored or something. So they joined this team because they got like a sense, a family worth out of it, which I thought was quite a good twist on like the team of the generation. Well, that was quite nice. But yeah, and then like the main storyline was like these scientists wanting to open up this hole to another dimension that brought through what they would call class as ultra beasts. Whether they're actually Pokemon or not, I think is a debate.
Well,
Over
yeah,
time.
I wouldn't class them as Pokemon, but yeah.
Some people would. I mean, Pokedex recognizes them, so somehow. But yeah, I actually think the story in the Ultra versions is better than the standard Sun and Moon, because Sun and Moon was all about really just kind of getting to the Pokemon League, and then being champion, and then like these Ultra Beasts were just kind of like something like kind of a side post content thing.
Yeah, because you had to go and battle them again. Because I think you had to battle them twice, didn't you, as well? There was 2 opportunities.
There could be, yeah. So I think some you battled twice, and then you could catch them, and then I think some you end up having to battle like 4 times around the island and stuff.
Yeah.
So you could catch them. Whereas like in the Ultra games, they made them more inclusive into the actual overall story, which I really liked. I actually thought that the Ultra games story was much better than the standard Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I really liked Gen 7.
Yeah.
Is there any more you can say about Gen 5?
I'll be honest with you. I played Gen 5. I can't really remember that much of it. It's not very memorable at all to me.
Oh.
So, right, let's just draw a line under Gen 5, say it's crap. Let's move Gen 7 into the next round.
Okay.
It's harsh for people who probably like Gen 5. I've heard it does have a really good story, but unfortunately I didn't play the games, so I can't say much.
That's Gen 7 moving on.
Gen 7 going through.
Matchup 3. Generation 1, red, blue, and yellow, against Generation 4, diamond, pearl, and platinum.
Ooh. Right, okay.
See, that stumped Janet.
I like Gen 1 for the nostalgia.
I don't know. Again, I'll admit, I didn't play much of Gen 4. I did play it, but I didn't play much of it. I don't think I completed it, so I can't say how on it.
I really like Gen 4. And I ended up, funnily enough, this is just a bit of a side story. I wanted both starters, both legendaries, Dialga and Palkia. I didn't, I only had Diamond. So I ended up trading a Palkia from this Japanese person, and it gave all my Pokemon Pokerus. I don't know if anybody knows what Pokerus is, but it's an in-game disease that just makes all your Pokemon more powerful. And the only change it makes is that when you go and take your Pokemon to be healed, Nurse Joy says, "Oh, one of your Pokemon's got Pokerus," and that's it. But that's all really. I really enjoyed Diamond and Pearl. Funnily enough, I'll get onto it, but I've just recently started playing Pearl again. Well, Pearl for the first time because I'd already played Diamond. But yeah, I just think it were really solid. I mean, it's all standard, like your 8 gym badges, your Pokemon League, and then you had your teams that try to take control of over either Dalgia or Palkia. From memory, was it Palkia controlled time and Dalgia controlled space, something like that, or vice versa?
Probably.
So you had to stop them. And then you had Platinum as well after that, which brought in this Darkness Pokemon called, was it Garantina?
Garantina, yeah.
So that added a little bit more to it. As a third game, I don't think it added as much as the other extensions for me. But I think, yeah, I like Gen 4. I actually ground my Pokemon to level 100, my entire team, and I ended up putting about 226 hours into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's dedication.
And then my sister ended up rewriting it. So, yeah.
Oh no.
So yeah,
Oh,
that one stung a bit. But yeah, right. Let's get back to the Fields game. Gen 1
Gen
Fields
1,
games.
the very first gen.
The first ones. Well, that's where it all started. It's
Well,
so
that's it.
nostalgic because we remember watching the anime along with it. Because when we got to Gen 4, I fell away from the anime. I didn't watch anything really past Gen 3 in terms of the anime.
I would agree. Yeah.
So I think just everything that came along with it was the first generation. You watched the anime along with it, and you were on Pokemon cards. It was just everything Pokemon at that time in my life. And it'll always hold a special place in my heart, Generation 1. And I'll never get tired of playing it. What are your thoughts on Gen 1, Matt?
Probably got the same thoughts as you. You know, it's the game that introduced me to the world of Pokemon. You know, I just got a lot of nostalgia for it. Like everything they did. Like I really liked how if you got Pokemon Red and you played it on a Game Boy Color, the graphics were essentially kind of red and kind of white in effect. And like if you had it for blue, it'd be blue and white, which is quite a nice like little difference they had there. I mean, I've not gone back to it since really completing them when I was a kid. So I don't know how I'd feel going back to them with all the updates that like each gen have kind of introduced.
Yeah. I mean, I played Yellow fairly recently, about a year ago, and it's difficult. You've got to actually grind because there's no XP share.
There is that, yeah.
That's overpowered. And to be honest, the Elite Four are quite menacing when you don't grind. I mean, if you can probably get through your 8 badges, but when you get to the Elite Four, you need to. I needed to grind at least an extra 10 levels before I was a match for him, because I got to a point where I probably got to. Oh God, who was the 4th one? Drake, weren't it? Not Drake.
No, Drake was 7th.
Oh, what's his name? The dragon one. Lance. That's it. Lance.
Oh, and Elite Four, sorry.
Yeah. And I kept getting beat by Lance. And after every battle, I don't know about you, but I just use revives and full restores to get my team back. But even with that, it was just not enough. So I had to go and do a lot of grinding to get to a point where I could.
Yeah. Just trying to think which one I would pick.
I mean, for me, I'd pick Gen 1. It's the first.
Yeah, no, I'll go with Gen 1 then. We'll go with Gen 1.
Ooh, Gen 1. Okay. Sounds like that might have been a difficult one, though. Or am I just interpreting that one?
Well, I don't not much to say about Gen 4. So.
Okay, so you can probably guess what this one is, but match 4 is Generation 6, X and Y against Generation 2, Silver, Gold, and Crystal.
Right. Shall we talk about Gen 2 first and then Gen 6?
Yeah, we can go with Gen 2.
So Gen 2, it introduced the day-night cycle, which was a good addition. So you could only catch certain Pokemon in the day and certain Pokemon at night. So that was interesting.
That was a good little change.
One thing that I didn't like about Gen 2 was the phone that you had. People constantly bringing you up for stuff. I'm like, just go away. I'm trying to have my journey here. And you're
that reminds me of GTA Online.
Yeah. It's like, go away, Simeon. Anyway.
Hey, cousin, let's go catching Pokemon. Go away.
Yeah. I mean, this was for me. The way they did the game was fantastic because you got 2 games pretty much, didn't you, with the second generation?
Well, that's it. So, I mean, you start off in the region of Johto.
Yep.
You know, you go through your typical 8 gyms, get your 8 badges. I don't know if you did the Elite Four at that point.
Yeah, you
I
did. You
Did
did.
you do Elite Four? I think you did Elite Four, and then you did the Champion. And then what you thought was probably going to be game over was like, oh, guess what? We can go back to Kanto, which was Gen 1, and get 8 badges all over again. And then you got to fight the you end up battling against the champion of Gen 1. Got and found who was the true champion. But in like classic fashion, I think this, funnily enough, the champion that you face is red, but he acts like the red in the first game. You think it's gonna be like Ash or something, but it's not. It's like red.
Yeah.
And he's like, he doesn't. When you talk to him, he didn't say anything.
Just
you go
doesn't
straight into a
speak,
battle. Yeah.
Well, there was loads of fan theory about this, whether he was just a ghost, and whether he was even real because he wasn't speaking.
Nah, it was just an Easter egg. Where he played on the kid who didn't talk in the first game. So
yeah, true. Yeah. Yes, I thought that was good. When you went back to Gen 1, though, after doing the Johto League, you could do the gyms in a different order from the normal one. So you could go straight to... Because where the boat goes, you could do the 3rd badge first.
No, I think that's what it is, wasn't it? Because you get on a boat to go from Johto to Kanto, and you end up in Vermilion City, isn't it? Or Vermilion City, which is where from Gen 1, that's technically the third badge.
Yeah,
but here, so here it ends up being your first badge, and then I think you end up I think from there you can take a route however you want. I think, but I think from memory, I ended up going back to Cerulean, which was the second gym, and then over to Boulder City, which is
Pewter City.
Pewter City, sorry, yeah. I think it's actually known as Boulder City in Japan. I think I could be wrong. That's probably where I got it from, but yeah. Then you do that one, and then you can make your way back over to kind of like the 4th and 5th. I think the 8th one is still the 8th one though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot what it's called. The 8th gym. I forgot what city that's called. But it don't matter. We can.
It's only the second city that we ever go to. Well,
actually,
technically a town, but
Pallet Town is technically the first one. It is the second ever one, but you don't come back to it until like there. Well, once you need the 8th.
Is it Viridian City?
You could be right. I think it's Viridian. Yeah, but yeah, you end up doing those 8 and then finding the champion. So, there's quite a few stuff that Gen 2 introduced, wasn't there? There's a lot of new things that really introduced, like I said, you end up getting the phone, which is useless, really. Well, no, you recorded trainers that you fought, like their numbers, so you could
ring
go back and fight them again. Yeah. I don't know what it did. I don't know, like, what you got for battling them again. Probably just more experience.
Money and XP for your Pokemon, which is always good.
True. Yeah. Was it also the? I could be wrong. Was this the first Pokemon game they introduced the XP share fairly early, or was that number 3? I think that might have been
3. Yeah.
I think so. No, I think you got it in the time before you went to Kanto. I think that was it. I think it was almost like a reward thing. Like, oh, here we go. Now you don't have to grind. Yay.
Well, back in them days, you could only attach it to one Pokemon. It didn't share it against the entire team. So you could use the XP share against someone.
Yes. Yeah. You attached it to one Pokemon. They got the roughly about half experience of the battle.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other stuff that Gen 2 introduced.
Shall we move on to Gen 6? Have a chat about that one.
Yeah, we can watch Gen 6.
Yeah. So this was the game that kind of scrapped the trope of there being 2 initial games and then a third game, or even, 2 remakes, because there was just X and Y in this generation. And we all thought, oh, Zed's going to be out soon, but it never happened, because you can catch that Pokemon in either X or Y.
Yeah, it was a really weird one that they didn't introduce the third game.
Yeah.
But
I really liked X and Y. I liked the teams as well, because it's funny because it gives you the boss of whichever team you playing against, depending on what game you've got, X or Y. He asks you a question and it's like, do you want us to destroy the world? Pretty much, because they want basically the aim of the teams is to get the world back to a place before humans, so that Pokemon could live in tranquility. I think that was.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, do you know what? You're right. Destroy all
Go
humans
on.
with cancer.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, do it. And then the Pokemon woke up, and then I got to battle the Pokemon. As in all games, when I see the legendary Pokemon, whip the Master Ball out. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
You come with me. And then I think post game you get to fight that 7'6" tramp guy. I can't remember what his name is. With that flower Pokemon.
Wasn't he the one who wanted to? He wanted to. If I can try and remember the story, his favorite, like his Pokemon partner, gets killed or something, and it goes on this like essentially like 100 years long revenge story on why to take out on the humans. I think he's the one that actually wants to wipe out the humans and stuff. Because I can't change it. I can't remember a team. Was there a team, an evil team in X and Y?
Yeah.
I'm sure there was, but I really can't remember.
I played Y originally, and there was this guy with like just basically big like side
Big
hair.
hair, big anime hair.
Yeah.
You could be right. I could be remembering it wrong because it's been a while since I've touched X and Y again. So
yeah, that was the first. Was that the first Pokemon game on 3DS? I think it was. I think that's the reason I bought my 3DS to play X and Y.
it was my reason. Reason why I got a 3DS. Well, it's the first Pokemon game to be fully 3D. So you know, your characters 3D. All the towns were in 3D, and then the Pokemon battles as well. The thing was the first time.
Yeah.
It's the first time they created 3D models for Pokemon. Because I think if I recall, I think Black and White, you had the towns in 3D, but you still walked around as though it was in 2D. I think. I could be remembering wrong. But then also as well with X and Y is the first one to introduce the Mega Evolutions.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, it was. I think it was a big thing to really introduce something new to Pokemon, where being able to see Charizard's being able to Mega Evolve.
Yeah,
well,
because
it's
there was two. Yeah, because they had the X and the Y versions for Charizard. Which one did you think were cooler?
I thought Y was cooler.
The one that seemed like a bit more of a progression, rather than totally different.
Well, yeah, I suppose with Mega Charizard X, it was just kind of a color change in blue flame.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was much of a change, whereas with Y, there was like quite a savage looking Charizard.
Yeah, I played Y when I first played through. I liked the Y version of Mewtwo as well, because it was a bit more. It wasn't as jarring as the fighting version for me.
Oh, the one where it looks a little bit more like Mew. Yeah, I think so, because it became like a psychic flying type, I want to say, and the other one was a psychic fighting type. I liked that its Mega Evolution looked a little bit more like, again, like a natural progression of. It was trying to be more like it was a Mew. There was essentially like a genetically modified version of it, but now it's kind of going back to almost its roots.
Yeah.
In effect, it was cool. I liked a lot of the Mega Evolutions that X and Y introduced.
What was your favourite one?
Ooh. I think
Personally,
X and Y did this one, but I think it was Tyranitar.
Oh,
It
if
looked like,
Tyranitar weren't as much of a beast already.
yeah, it just really bulked up, looked like a massive mother. Yeah.
I liked
was yours?
Alakazam. Alakazam were my favourite. All the spoons and a big beard.
Looked like a wise old man.
Yeah, liked that one.
Actually, you know
Right.
what? I take it back. My favorite was Gengar, but the shiny version.
Was the shiny version the white one?
Yeah. So it's just like a massive head with like a big tongue.
Big
but
eyeball in.
shiny one looked really cool. Yeah.
Right, shall we make a decision? So it's Gen 2 versus Gen 6.
I think
I think for the longevity, it's a difficult one because they both incorporated so much. I'd say Gen 2 for the longevity of the game because you get 2 games in one. What do you reckon?
We can have our first disagreement here.
Yeah, I kind of want to make an argument for 6 just because it's the first one in 3D.
Mark, do you want to come in and see, given what we've said, which one do you think?
I think we talked more about Gen 2 and probably a lot more positivities. What negativities have you got for Gen 2, if you've got any?
Miltank.
Miltank, the Pokemon, the cow Pokemon is a negative.
Yeah, because it's infamously difficult to get.
Hang on, a cow. Did you say milk tank?
Miltank.
Yeah, it's called Miltank. Miltank.
Right.
Oh, I thought you said milk tank, because then that would go with cow, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Well, it's still close. It's Miltank.
Right, Mark, get this. It sucks its own udder to get health back.
I think you've blown his mind. He's trying to imagine that, like, a cow.
Pull the other one.
Its own udder.
I don't know if I can. Right,
Come on,
only
pick.
thing.
Pick.
Yeah.
Pick.
We need. This is going on long enough. Come on.
I'll let you pick this one, Matt. You can choose.
I'll go with Gen 2.
Peer pressure.
2 it is.
I think just because of being able to go into 2 different regions, I don't think any other Pokemon game's really done that. So.
No.
All right, we've hit the semi-finals. So
this is going to be much easier now because we've talked about it in such length.
Yeah. So it's Generation 3. Generation 3, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald against Generation 7, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon.
Oh,
damn.
This is terrible.
Well,
this is going to be much easier.
I thought it was.
Needs must. Who's getting the chop?
I want to say Generation 7.
What gets the chop? It all goes through.
Generation 7 goes through.
Generation 7 goes through.
Just. It's only because of the Ultra Sun and Moon editions for the story.
I think if Gen 3 had its remakes, I'd probably inclined to go with Gen 3, but I think without them. I think just for content alone, I think I'd go for Gen 7. I think it does something different.
It's new, isn't it? Yeah.
It does something different to the status quo. And I like the whole story that Ultra introduced with like the wormholes and stuff. So, and the region Pokemon as well. It's the first one with region Pokemon. Yeah, I'll go with Gen 7.
Gen 7 it is.
I'm sure there's a lot of Pokemon, like diehard Pokemon fans, probably like hating this. Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, tell us in the comments because it's going to be on YouTube, guys. So come at me.
Right, semi-final 2, Generation 1, Red, Blue, Yellow against Generation 2, Silver, Gold, and Crystal.
Right, it's going to have to be Generation 2. because Generation
2 has Generation 1 within.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, go on.
The nostalgia can't win out on this one. It's got to be Gen 2.
Well, that was easy enough.
Yeah, go on.
All right, final.
Okay.
It's Generation 7, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon against Generation 2, Silver, Gold, and Crystal. Fight to the death.
That's my
See, you can't.
choice.
See, I think for one, I feel like the thing that Gen 2's got for it is content. It's got a lot of content.
Well, that's it. It's just so vast.
But I think this is where you can't have it over Gen 7 because I think Gen 7 also had a lot of content. Especially at least the Ultra games.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, there's about 15 years between them as well.
Well, there's that. There's a lot of.
You've got to think about
the thing we didn't even talk about with Gen 7 is it's the first Pokemon game to introduce within the battle system. If you've battled a Pokemon before, it will tell you what moves are effective or not effective against it. So it's almost like the first game that actually makes battling a little easier.
I don't know if
that's a good thing or not.
I think it should. I think you should have to remember what's good against what Pokemon. I think it adds to it. I don't think people should be spoon-fed what attacks to use.
I think it's something that goes.
I do. I want to be spoon-fed.
See, for newcomers, I think actually Gen 7's a good starting point.
Stop the newcomers.
Well, that's me out of it.
Sorry, Mark.
Sorry, Mark.
No,
you're not going to say this.
It's nearly a 25-year franchise.
Gotta pick it somewhere, mate.
I think something as well that I think I would say that goes against. Well, it could go for Gen 7. Is I don't know if I think this one was the first introduced. Is that like in certain areas where it's like you've got a long kind of stretch of area and stuff. They do introduce like the checkpoint lady that like you can if you talk to her you can get your partner your party re-healed, so you don't necessarily have to go
that's
back and forth to a poke center, which I think overall is a good thing because then you're not having to track. It really streamlines how you play Pokemon games.
Yeah. Was it this one that got rid of HMs?
Yes, Gen 7 is the first one that got rid of HMs, which I think is a good thing.
Because I always hated giving cut or flash to one of my Pokemon.
Well, that's it. I think HMs, when they first introduced, was a good thing because it
really blocks you off in effect, didn't it, from getting to the next stage?
Yeah,
I'll just explain this to Mark. There was about between 7 or 8 moves in the game that you needed to be able to progress, and you only got them when you got to a certain stage, so they kind of locked you off getting to certain points. So, for example, there'd be a tree in the way that stopped you from progressing, and you could only get the move to cut the tree down as if you did something in the game, and then you could progress. So it was kind of a way of bottlenecking where you were in the game and stopping you from progressing too far without having a certain thing.
Yeah.
And I think my issue with it, you had really rubbish moves that you needed to progress. Or for Flash, you could get around with Flash because you could just eventually you would know where to go, hitting the walls and getting through the caves.
Did you do that?
Yeah, of course.
I never did that. I was like, no, I need Flash.
Catch a Clefairy or something, just teach it. It's like a HM,
yeah, here we go.
HM slave.
Well, that was it, actually. Funnily enough, it was a Gen 6. Gen 6, where you started to do like HMs and stuff. I had like a Beedrill that did everything. So it was like, it was cut, it was rock smash, sorry. But it was so powerful. Like, I would never have used Beedrill if it weren't for like being so effective to have so many HMs on it.
Yeah.
But they were still like good HMs to use.
Yeah.
So I think in a way it helped. In a way, you end up having to always have one Pokemon that was like the HM move Pokemon.
Yeah.
But it would always be powerful.
I tried to like space mine out among the Pokemon that I had. So I'd have like say a Noctowl or something for flying. Well, I had like a Lapras for surfing, and like you know what I mean. I tried to.
Oh yeah, no. Oh no, Gyarados. Come on, you need the cool Pokemon to be surf.
Hey, Lapras is cool. Right, I'd say Generation 7. I think it introduced a lot. It's a definite, well, obviously because of the time difference, it's a definite step up on Generation 2 in most aspects. I'd say for what it is, I think it is a better game and a better region and a better generation than the Generation 2, unfortunately. Well, I won't say unfortunately, but it just is, for me anyway. I think if you isolate Johto on its own and take Kanto away from it, definitely, I don't think Gen 2 would have made it this far.
I think that's it though. See what I don't like is I actually prefer Gen 8 over Gen 7, but I didn't make it this far. Which is nice.
Well, you've gone with this, lad. Make your choices.
I don't like the terrible randomizer.
Is what it is.
Why can't you put A against better games?
Deal with it.
Oh, Weskin. Well, deal with it. I think I have to go for Gen 7.
Oh, you mean agreement there then?
Yeah.
I'm in agreement to a certain extent, but I think it does more better than it does. Yeah, I think it does more better than what Gen 2 did. As much as that, there's an argument that it's had 15 years experience of knowing what it needs to do better.
Well, there we go, folks. It's official. Generation 7, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon is the best Pokemon ever.
Best Pokemon game.
So
everybody, go out and buy Sun.
I'm going to believe them, but I'm not sure myself. So
I think Mark needs to buy a 3DS and experience.
That's it.
It's not going to happen. But there you go. Wasn't that great? Well done.
Generation 7.